Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead with another Battlefield 4 video for you. Today we're going to be doing my final review on the M240 Bravo. Now you might be saying, Dead, this weapon has been out since the launch of the game, which was, what, October of 2013? So we're looking at, what, I don't know, 6 months? So why is this even relevant? Well, it's relevant simply because we've gone through several patches. I did an initial review when I first started my channel, and since this is a support-centric channel, I wanted to do a final review on this weapon to just kind of put it to rest and give my final thoughts on this weapon, because I seriously doubt DICE will be patching these early game LMGs anytime soon. Games like the weapons like the AWS will probably be patched simply because they're just ridiculous right now. If you saw my AWS versus M249 video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you've seen any AWS video on YouTube, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But weapons like the LSAT, the 240 Bravo, the Peshmerga, they will probably stay as is, simply because they are very well balanced. Now, the M240 Bravo is a heavy machine gun, categorized in what I like to say the heavy hitters. These are the most damaging primary weapons that you will find in Battlefield. They are also some of the most difficult to learn how to use and be effective at. Now, that is not an arrogance thing on my part or anyone who uses the 240 Bravo. It is simply stating a fact. The heavy LMGs like the Peshmerga and the Bravo and the M60 have ridiculously long reload times. They kick like mules. Their recoils, both up and left and right, are very difficult to get a hold of sometimes. They have a very low round per minute rate, which means that they fire less rounds than most weapons, which means in close quarters combat you will get outshot. Where they do shine is their extreme accuracy if you can get a handle on the recoil, as well as the sheer volume of rounds that they can put down range. Most LMGs have 100 rounds. There are a couple that have 200 rounds box magazines, and that is a heck of a lot of firepower to be able to put downrange on the enemy. The other thing the LMGs have going for them is their suppression rate. Remember that suppression does exist in Battlefield 4. Excuse me. It is not as ridiculous as it was in BF3, but it is still a factor in Battlefield 4 that you should not underestimate. Whenever you're putting rounds downrange, it usually takes 2 or 3 rounds from an LMG to whiz past an enemy player's head before they start feeling that very heavy optic sway and a little bit of screen blur. Now, you obviously don't really see it as the one firing the heavy weapon, but it does affect enemy players, and it does affect their ability to get a bead on you. Now, this kind of evens things out, because most players are running the assault class with the higher rate of fire assault weapons, or they're running the carbines in any other class, which will outshoot an LMG all day, every day. So let's get into some of the stats here. This stuff comes off Simthic.com. The max damage is 34. The minimum damage is 25. 25 is the minimum damage. That means at any range, all you need is 4 rounds on target, and your target is dead. Drop-off starts at 8 meters and ends at 75 meters. The rate of fire is 650 rounds per minute, which is fairly slow. That means you just get this nice heavy chug 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 feel. If you the muzzle velocity is 610. If you throw a suppressor on this weapon, which I generally don't recommend, especially for this weapon in particular, simply because it just cuts your muzzle velocity into nothing. It goes down from 610 to a staggering 320 meters per second. Reload time is 6.2 seconds. The upward recoil is 0.6, and the left and right recoil are equally balanced at 0.5. Right here, as you can see, this is the M240 Bravo in all of its glory. I use a coyote sight, a 2x magnifier, a muzzle brake, as well as the angled grip. That is my typical loadout. Excuse me. I also use the, I guess it's like, what is it, the reactive paint, where you go onto a map and it automatically kind of matches the terrain or color quality. Right here we are on the test range, and I'm going to go through my typical rounds that I go through when demonstrating this weapon. The first plate we're going to do is full auto without compensating for anything. So take a look at it right here, and you will see how ridiculous this is. Look at that. Right away, I'm already way up in the sky, and you see that there was a lot of bam, 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 left, right, left, right, left, right. Right here, we will go full auto, and we will compensate for the vertical recoil only. As you can see, still quite a large pattern. A lot of room for error, especially if you're going full auto on a target that can outshoot you with an assault rifle or a carbine. Right here, we will go for long bursts. These are 6 to 7 round bursts. You see, it seems to be pulling an awful lot to the right, but the pull is equal left and right. Right here, this is tap firing. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Very, very small tap firing, firing 1, maybe 2 rounds, and you'll see that the tight group patterns really, really come together, but only when you tap fire very, very strictly. Here's our huge pattern, only compensating for vertical. Here is some compensation for vertical recoil with the long tap, and that last one you saw were very, very short taps. Now, sometimes you'll hear this weapon described as a sniper rifle. Excuse me. And it can be used so. My typical loadout is the Coyote sight with a 2x magnifier. I never run any more magnification than that, simply because I don't really feel the need. I can put enough heavy rounds downrange to drop pretty much anyone in 4 hits, and I never really feel the need to go up to an ACOG and get those long range shots. I just don't, because most of my engagements aren't very long. This might be the maximum range I might engage someone. Now, as you saw there, I did very, very quick tap firing. That tap, 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 and that was a fairly long range. You see, there's still a little bit of spread, but these are tight groups right here. This is about the size of an enemy player's torso. 4 hits, and he is dead. Right here, I'm just going to demonstrate some of the deviation, the random deviation that you get while kind of moving and ADSing very, very quickly. As you can look down on that building, you see that, look at that. It's just a mess. So moving and firing with this weapon is a no-no. You want to stop in place and fire that weapon at your targets, and you will be a heck of a lot more accurate than trying to just kind of spasm all over the map and put rounds downrange and kill the bad guys that way. Next, we're going to demonstrate the extreme long shot. Like I said earlier, a lot of people describe this weapon as a sniper rifle, and it can be used so in a sense. It's not really a sniper rifle, not in the real world, and not in our fake Battlefield world, but you can get very accurate shots. Look just above that window. This is just tap, 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 tap. I'm taking my time, I'm lining up shots, and I'm tapping. Now, the advantage I have here at firing so slow, you might think, well, if you're firing so slow, the bad guys are going to turn around and they're going to get you every time. At this range, an assault rifle is next to useless. A carbine is next to useless. They might be able to get a couple rounds on me, but they're not going to be able to get enough rounds on me because, number one, I'm suppressing them. Number two, I'm putting a heck of a lot of damage downrange in a short number of rounds. As you can see, look at those tight groups. Very, very tight. That one's a little bit wider simply because of the angle of the building. So if you guys have not unlocked the 240 Bravo, unlock it, get some attachments for it, get proficient at it. You will be unstoppable on the battlefield at medium to long range. My name's Dead Winter Dead. Thanks for watching.